when your child's behavior triggers your old wounds. Let me ask you something. Has your child ever had a meltdown, talked back, or done something small that pushed you instantly into anger or tears, faster than you could even think? Maybe it just takes a tone of defiance, a slammed door, or a loud no at the wrong moment, and suddenly you find yourself in a storm of emotions you didn't see coming. Later, you can't help but ask, why did I lose it over something so little? Am I just not cut out for this parenting thing? If that sounds familiar, you are far from alone. Parenting, especially in those hard moments, has a powerful way of waking up hurts from our own past, the invisible wounds we carry from childhood. Your child isn't just pushing your buttons. Sometimes, they're pressing old bruises you didn't even know were there. Here's the truth that almost no one tells us. Every loving parent sometimes overreacts and then feels confused, ashamed, or even scared of what boiled up inside. There's a hidden link between your child's challenging behaviors and your own early experiences. When you were little, you learned even without words how to survive stress, how to get approval, or how to cope with big emotions. Those patterns are wired deep into the brain, and they wake up when your child does something that hits just the right nerve. This does not make you a bad parent, or broken, or failing. It means you are human, and you are being given a second chance to heal, right in the middle of family life. If this is resonating with you already, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Calm Roots Parenting, and share in the comments. How old is your child, and have you ever spotted one of your own triggers in action? By the end of this video, you'll understand why your reactions make so much sense, how old wounds show up in daily parenting, and how you can notice the signs in your body before you spiral. Most of all, you'll learn gentle techniques to pause, reset, and break out of old scripts. Imagine handling those tough moments without the guilt and shame, but with a new sense of compassion for yourself and your child. Let's start with a gentle truth. When your child's behavior triggers a big emotional reaction, it's usually far more about your history than their actual mistake. Science tells us that our brains are shaped in the earliest years by our caregivers' signals and the environment around us. If you grew up needing to be perfect to feel safe, or if big emotions were ignored, criticized, or even punished, your nervous system learned to defend, withdraw, or people please to survive. When your child makes a mess or resists you, it can feel, deep down, like a threat not just to your authority as a parent, but to your sense of safety and worthiness that traces back decades. For example, maybe there's a morning rush, and your child refuses to put on shoes. Suddenly, you feel heat in your chest, your jaw tightens, your voice comes out sharper than you want. Later, you remember your own childhood, how a parent would snap at you, or maybe expect instant obedience, or maybe shut down when things felt hard. That younger version of you shows up in those moments, desperate to be heard, or needing control, or just longing for a break. Your reaction makes sense, but it doesn't have to be the end of the story. So what can you do when those old buttons get pressed? The first step is noticing not just in your mind but in your body. Your body is your early warning signal. Maybe your heart races, your stomach drops, your fists clench, or you feel a wave of shame or anger before you can even process what's happening. The next time you feel a sudden surge, pause and check where you sense it. Is it heat? Tightness? Pressure? This noticing is not about judging or fixing. It's about tuning in, like a gentle observer. Even a few seconds of awareness interrupts the lightning-fast autopilot your brain usually runs on. Next comes the pause, the smallest, but most powerful practice you can try. When you spot a trigger, give yourself literal space, if you can. It can just be 3 slow, deep breaths, letting your exhale last longer than your inhale. If it feels safe, say out loud, "I need a second." Step into another room or shake your hands out gently. Picture yourself pressing a reset button, telling your body, "I am safe, this is not the past, and I have a choice." The pause is where old scripts start to loosen, and new habits of compassion and curiosity can grow. Let me share a story that might feel familiar. One mom, Rachel, realized she got instantly tense and irritable anytime her toddler cried loudly in a store. Later, she remembered that as a kid, she was shushed and told to stop embarrassing herself in public. Those childhood moments had etched a belief: strong emotions must be hidden to be lovable. When Rachel started naming her sensations, shoulders hunched, face flushed, and pausing before reacting, she could see her child's distress through a softer lens. She even whispered to herself, "It's okay to feel. We are both safe," before responding to her child. Over time, her reactions softened, and those meltdowns became moments of safety instead of shame. This is what's possible for all of us. If you're listening to this and realizing just how deeply your parenting triggers are tied to your childhood, I want you to pause for a moment and tell me in the comments. Can you name one situation that sets you off in a way you don't fully understand? Writing it out, even just for yourself, is a huge first step toward changing that story for you and your child. And don't forget, you're not alone in this. Someone else right here is probably feeling the very same thing. The next piece is building everyday practices that support your nervous system and help you stay in your wise parent state, especially when old wounds flare up. One simple practice is the name, nurture, choose technique. First, name the feeling. Say to yourself, "I'm noticing a wave of anger," or "there's a lot of fear here." You're not shaming, just naming. Next, nurture yourself in the moment. That might sound like, "This is hard and I'm allowed to feel it," or "I survived this as a child, but things are different now," or even "I'm safe to pause before I act." Finally, choose. Ask yourself, "How would I want to respond if I wasn't reacting from pain?" Sometimes that answer is simply a softer tone, offering a hug, or backing off to collect your thoughts. Remember, every time you pause and choose differently, even if you slip up and repair later, you are literally rewiring your brain, and your child's brain too. You are modeling emotional intelligence and self-compassion. You are teaching your child that it's okay to be imperfect, to mess up, and to try again. That lesson goes much further than any single correction or moment of discipline ever could. You might be wondering if these small pauses and catches will really make a difference. Let's pull back for a second. Decades of brain science now tell us that parents are the brain architects in the early years. The tone we set, the way we respond when our child's behavior pushes our limits, builds the emotional foundation of their brains. Emotional safety, not perfection, is what helps children grow up confident, secure, and resilient. So even if you grew up with yelling, shaming, or fear as the language of discipline, you can be the cycle breaker. Your willingness to notice, pause, and repair is actually the most powerful parenting skill you can build. I want to gently say, you are not your childhood, and you are not condemned to repeat the same patterns forever. Every time you spot an old wound showing up, take it as a sign of your strength and awareness. Your child's challenging moments aren't a test of your worth, they're an invitation to heal a little more, together. If you found even one small piece of this video that gives you hope, please share it with another parent who might need a lift this week. Leave a comment about a trigger you recognize in yourself. It just might help someone else feel less alone. While you're here, remember to hit subscribe to Calm Roots Parenting for more wisdom on breaking old cycles and raising emotionally strong kids. So the next time your child's behavior hits a raw nerve, remember, notice what's happening in your body, name the feeling, and gently give yourself permission to pause. Even a few deep breaths, or stepping away for a minute, gives you and your child a chance to return to connection instead of old scripts. Emotional safety, yours and theirs, is built one small, brave moment at a time. I hope you'll take a few minutes today, after watching this, to write down even just one trigger you notice in yourself. Keep it somewhere you can see it this week as a gentle reminder. You are growing, healing, and leading your family in a more peaceful direction than what came before. Like this video, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments what new practice you'll try in the next tricky parenting moment. If you want to dive deeper into healing old parenting patterns, check out the next video on compassion-based discipline linked right here. You and your child deserve a home built on safety, understanding, and hope.